Kid porn bust in New Jersey. I'm Silverback Kongo, and this is my gospel. Let's begin. An employee of New Jersey's Department of Children and Families was arrested after child porn images were found on his cell phone. Federal prosecutors said. Trent Collier, a 55-year-old family service specialist, was busted Tuesday at Newark Airport. Acting U.S. Attorney Rachel Honig said. A criminal complaint alleges Collier of Kearney, New Jersey, arrived at the airport on a flight from the Dominican Republic. His luggage was searched upon landing, and law enforcement officials found at least 2 images of child porn on the devices, including one that depicted a nude boy and girl on a bed, according to the complaint. The article was written by Joshua Miller. In the New York Post, Friday, October 1st, 2021. There it goes. See it? Small article. I like to choose small articles from these circulars because sometimes, most of the time, the journalist or the circular like to avoid articles like this one, okay? Because these articles, especially when it comes to dealing with kids, are extremely sensitive. So they tend to make them very short, and sometimes they just skim through it, right? Even when you watch the broadcast on TV, they don't cover them in detail. They don't give you the details in the name of investigating. They're going to tell you it's still under investigation. But when it comes to entertainment, they give you more of details, right? But when it comes down to kids, they don't really go into detail. They don't really cover it like they should. I suspect because it's going to convict our society. It's going to expose really the type of society that we live in, especially when it comes to kids. All right. So I've got a few notes. I've got a few questions when it comes to this gentleman by the name of Trent Collier. It's like a French name. He's Collier. The question that I have for Mr. Trent Collier is this. Did he have to go all the way to the Dominican Republic to commit these crimes? Because he lives right here in New Jersey, right? He lives in New Jersey, right here in the States. Did he have to go all the way to the Dominican Republic like they usually do, right? Wherever there's poverty, the men of sin goes there. They go to Thailand, right? They go after kids. Could he have committed these crimes right here in the States? The other question is, how did they know? How did they know? How did they know that he was coming from the Dominican Republic and he committed a crime out there? Who alerted the authorities that Mr. Collier was coming at the airport at that time, at that specific time? And how did they know that to search him? Because I mean, I've gone through the TSA. I've gone through, coming through the airport. They have you take all your stuff out of your pockets, put them inside like a bowl, a container. You put your watch, your jewelry, your wallet, right? Your coat. If it's cold outside, you take your coat, you put it there, and it's gonna go through the machine. And you as well, you have to go through it will scan your entire body. It will be scanned. So, you take your even your phone, you put it inside that container. It will go to that container as well. How did they take his phone and, start looking at it? How? How did they know that Mr. Collier did something? Unless someone in the Dominican Republic perhaps reported that, But how? How did they know? I'm suspicious about that. Other question is, looking at this article here, how many times as Mr. Collier has committed this crime? Keep in mind, he works for the Department of Children and Families. It doesn't specify exactly what he does with the children and family, but he's in contact with children. At what level, I do not know. Right? But do you really think that he had to go all the way to the Dominican Republic to commit this crime? Or perhaps he's already committed crimes right here in the States. Right? Mr. Collier. And I've actually looked up just to follow up. I don't see anything. So, family, let's be very, very careful when it comes to our kids. Let's be very, very careful. Let's be very, very, very careful when it comes to our kids. Trusting people who have histories, who have a history of killing right? Killing the innocent children of Isolele. They haven't been persecuted yet. They haven't. Start training your kids, right? Better yet, allow your kids to speak, to be as vocal as possible. Don't punish your kids for being vocal, right? Just try to, learn how to temper them in a way that they build confidence, and yet at the same time, they see themselves as individuals. Kids, especially the children of the Most High, the children of Bantu, they have to learn early, in the early stages of their youth, they have to learn to be, responsible, to be self-reflective, right? So if you're teaching your kids to be individuals, they know that they need to be responsible. They know that they can speak for themselves, that they have the confidence to speak for themselves, right? Because a lot of our kids, there's many things that are done to them and they are not being reported. So it's up to you, the parent, to be aware on how your kids are being treated when they leave your sight, when they leave your presence. If they're in school, you've got to know how to ask questions that would allow them to speak. And if your kids did not learn how to speak before they left you, and before they were enrolled in school or a camp or whoever's taking care of them, if they don't know how to speak in front of you, they're going to have a hard time speaking in front of somebody else, right? And they can be easily abused if a child does not know how to speak. And we have to learn to, how can I say this? We tend to be harsh to our kids because we fear that if they're unruly, if they leave your presence, and this is a slave way of thinking, a slave mentality, right? We feel that if a child is unruly, if they leave your presence and they are in the presence of someone else, we feel like we have to restrain them when it comes to speaking, right? Because you can teach your kids how to speak. If you're gentle, if you're loving, kids know when they're being loved. But I tend to see a lot of our people, especially when it comes down to poverty, the environment of poverty, right? A lot of our mothers are harsh with their kids. Most often is because they themselves were treated a certain way when they were kids. So they're repeating the same thing. But we have to learn. We're living in an information age now. We have to learn on how to communicate with our kids. Because once a kid learns how to communicate, then they can be truly independent, even if they're not in your presence as a parent. Right? So you want to instill that confidence in your child, knowing that when you leave your child at daycare, even if they're so small, you want to feel confident that your child will speak for themselves. But if you are harsh to your kid and you don't allow them to learn how to use their words, they're not going to use their words. they're not gonna be confident. They're gonna feel insecure. And people like Trent Collier, when they go in front of Trent Collier, he's gonna take advantage of them. So we don't want that. We want smart, confident children. Okay, family? Until next time, please subscribe, like the video, and most important, share this information. Peace.